morning. I'm just checking my microphone. I believe that you are hearing me right now, and if you could confirm that in the chat, let me know. Felipe, that is a great question. Please ask it at the onlinequestions.org website, code 314159. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. It's not Monday, it's Thursday. I mean, it feels like Monday because it's taken me all week to get to this momentous moment. That's a bit redundant, I suppose, where I am here back live streaming with you. I'm looking over at my monitor over here to see that I see myself. I see the chat going. I see people talking about how I am late. The train, this is not a European train. This is definitely it's an American train. I mean, we've got some nice trains here in this country. Would love to have just a whole long session discussion about trains all over the world and which ones we love and why. Tell me about your favorite trains in the chat. My audio might be on the low side, so let's take a look at that. That is quite possible. I can pump up the volume very easily here. Let me just do this, try that. Okay, how is that? Maybe I won't worry about it too much right now because I'm often when I record, I'm noticing that as I start to get excited about something, the volume tends to peak and get very distorted. But let me know. Still, so it's hard for me to know because you are all a bit behind. Let's see. I'm looking at these interesting questions. How do I delete? Okay, I can delete them. Answered. Okay. You can hear me well. Audio is fine. Audio is good. Okay, I did turn it up a little bit, so hopefully it's good now. Hi, everyone. I have 4 train whistles. Let's try them all. Train whistle number 1. First attempt to laser etch Coding Train logo into a train whistle. No good. Cheap train whistle, bought online, very inexpensively made. Train whistle from a actual toy shop, not Coding Train branded, just says train whistle right here. Beautiful sound. Oh, that sound. I will not get anything as good as that. Now, I also happen to have here a custom laser etched Coding Train, the train right there, a random walk laser etched on the side. This was made, the laser etching was done by Jason, who does all the Coding Train illustrations, but this was made by Maple Landmark out of Middlebury, Vermont. A nice wood shop there. Pretty good sound, requires quite a bit more force. Is this what you expected? Because I'm so sorry. This is kind of what I do. I get on here and I start looking at train whistles and I get distracted by the fact that it's pouring rain outside or something else. Not sure how much coding there will be today. This is really just a chance to press the reset button for the fall, engage and welcome you to the Coding Train YouTube channel, chat, answer questions. look at I have a whole long list of updates. The main thing on this agenda today, I would say, is processing 4. I'm going to take a long look at processing 4 and all the new features and wonderful things that are present there. Now, you may have seen this whistle, because this whistle, which is in this little box, and I should have like an overhead camera or a closer camera, but I think if I hold it here up to my face, you can kind of see it. Processing Community Day, Copenhagen 2022. I was lucky enough to travel to Copenhagen over the summer, where I was presented with an authentic, wow, I'm just gonna be quiet for a second. Can you hear that rain? It is a beautiful sound. It's just like a constant low hum, a strong downpour, very little wind, just tons of water falling from the sky. Beautiful. All right, so this is an authentic, actually used by Danish train conductors in the 1950s. Let's try this for a second. Let's see if it can auto. Apologies for the loss of focus now. There we go. I think you're going to see this right now. So there you go. Look at this beautiful, authentic Danish train whistle from the 1950s. You can see that it's got some good use in it. I've cleaned it thoroughly. I'm the only one who uses it. We're all COVID-safe train whistle protocols here in this household. I would love to read to you a little bit about this train whistle, the whole beautiful explanation about the history of it. This is by Pricken from 1957. If you like, Denmark's railway traffic is directed by buffaloes. Indian buffaloes at that. This might sound like an insinuation, which of course it is not. It is true insofar as the black railway whistles that unleash the horsepower of steam and diesel oil start their earthly existence as the main ornaments of buffaloes. And a quick calculation tells us that Denmark's communications have cost, oh boy. I'm sorry, buffaloes. I didn't realize this would get so dark so quick. Anyway, so let's take a listen. This can make quite a loud sound. Everybody, please, if you're wearing headphones, turn down your volume. Get ready. Here we go. Definitely in the red there. I hope I did not blow out your ears. Okay, that was amazing. I'm going to wrap this up nicely, very carefully. Put it back in its beautiful box and move on to the next item on my agenda. But one more thing about the whistles. If you are a Coding Train member, which you can join on YouTube, on Patreon, you can do a GitHub sponsorship, there's Twitch subscriptions. If you are at one of the higher levels, you are owed one of these whistles, laser etched and specially made just for you. This has been probably one of my biggest failures in terms of the Coding Train, is getting these to people. Some people have received them. Some people are next on the list. Some people I don't even have on my list. So if you are one of those people, please get in touch. I know that Daniel at the Coding Train, that's where you should. There's a bunch of different Coding Train emails, and I forget where each of them go, but I know that Daniel at the Coding Train will go to me. So if you happen to be watching this, you happen to be a member at a certain level, I want to get you this whistle, please. Okay, all members, by the way, anyway, everybody's welcome in the Discord, but I have some private channels in the Discord for people who sign up where you can ask questions about getting your stickers and all that kind of stuff. So link also your Discord account with YouTube if you sign up through YouTube or Patreon, etc., and it will allow you access to those channels. Okay, so first things first on my list. I am trying a new experiment, which is I found this wonderful website called onlinequestions.org, where you can add and upload, you can add and upvote questions. I have an admin view of it over here, so I can quickly delete something if we've got any trolls out there watching the live stream. This is live, so I kind of want to move away from it right now, but you can upvote questions and I will answer them. So I'm going to start with the very first question. What is The meaning of life. I think we all know what the meaning of life is. It is a very obvious answer to that question. 42. Okay. Answered. Now, how do I do this? Click. Answered. All right, check. Are there any good videos for learning how interpolation works? Ooh. Okay, this is a great question. Are there any good videos? So let's think about this. So in processing in P5, there is a function called lerp. Can you hear that rain? Hold on. I've got my wireless mic with me. I'm going over to a door. I'm going to open this door so you can really hear this rain. Beautiful. This is a little Coding Train rain ASMR for you today. All right. Sorry to leave you hanging there. Lerp. So let's see. Let's try lerp with P5. I'm back, right? Okay, good. I'm back. Hi. Reference lerp. Okay, so first of all, oh, fascinating. It's interesting to see what Google tells us about how to learn about lerp. So this is, I feel like this is, oh yeah, this is a 2015 video. Wow, this is old. I don't look that different, I don't think. Kind of got the same exact haircut, wearing a pink shirt. I used to do this thing where I would unbutton my shirt. And some people made comments about it as if it was some kind of fashion attempt. What it was, authentically, I'm being completely honest here. This is what you tuned in for, I swear. This is why you're all here. The reason why I kept the shirt unbuttoned, I wanted to wear a shirt so that I could clip my mic to it, but I wanted to show what was on my t-shirt. And I've given that up because I get too many comments of like, oh, this guy thinks it's so cool with his unbuttoned shirt. Okay, anyway. We were talking about lerp. So I do have some videos about lerp. So what is lerp? Lerp is short for linear interpolation. What does interpolate mean? It means to, boy, I'm going to have a hard time like articulating this. I'm just going to do it off the top of my head in the way that I think about it. It means to sort of mix, find the point in between two things. We want to interpolate between this color and this color. So if I was interpolating between red and blue and I get like a purplish, I don't know if that's exactly accurate, but the idea of interpolation doesn't tell us enough because we need to know what kind of math do I want to use to interpolate between two different values. And I can interpolate between scalar, single numbers, vectors, arrays, colors. There's also, as long as I've got some kind of numeric quantity, I can interpolate between two. And lerp is really the simplest version of this. Now, here's a really interesting question. This is a great test of the Coding Train website. So one of the things about the Coding Train website is I have a new feature. It's still really being worked on, and there's some significant bugs about, not bugs in the website. I would say bugs in the data entry, on me. If I go to videos, let's first go to challenges. And one thing I can do is I can type in here lerp and nothing came up. So this is instantly a mistake in that I know that I have some coding challenges, in particular the Bezier curve. By the way, if you all ever looked at a Bezier curve and thought, oh, I could never possibly understand the math that makes this beautiful curve. Well, first of all, you should watch Freya Holmer's video about Bezier curves. It's so loud, the rain. Hopefully the power does go out where I am sometimes with these big storms. So if for some reason I just disappear instantly, that's probably what happened. So you should really look at Freya Holmer's, and apologies if I'm getting their name pronounced incorrectly, but Freya Holmer's video, The Beauty of Bezier Curves. It is absolutely fantastic and amazing. I have my own poor, not nearly as beautiful and thoughtful and amazing version of that, which if I probably search Coding Train Bezier, which I want to show you here. So if I'm on the Coding Train website, let's try putting in Bezier. This is really, what about curve? I really got to work on. So this is good. We got Lisa Jew curve, Koch curve, Hilbert curve. So we're just going to find it by searching. Here's the Bezier curve. So note to all of you contributors to the Coding Train website, let's work on the topics. This one just has for beginners. So I've got to add some topics to this one. Maybe we could even do this live later. Let's do topics. I don't want to get too distracted right now by editing the Coding Train website, but I would like to show that to you. So if we look at, let's think about some of these examples. Bezier curve with formula, I believe, with lerp. I want to show you, not sure which one is going to be the best. I know that this one, let's try looking at this one. I'm going to look at the, let's look at this coding example. Cubic, okay. So I'm using in this one, the reason what I'm looking for is when I remember making this coding challenge and using the lerp function to do it. Yeah, there we go. So you can see the actual, and this is going to look like a mess to you. And hopefully if you actually go and watch this video, I step through this in great detail to explain all of the math. But you can see that the actual idea of a Bezier curve is just a lot of linear interpolations, multiple points all being interpolated together to get this curve. Like if I have these endpoints, okay, we got a whiteboard over here. I'm off track, but this is what you tuned in for, I hope. So, it's a little bit dark, the whiteboard, but that's fine. And also it's still got my Apple II stuff on it. But right, if I have this point here, call it X1, Y1, terrible marker. And my audio is still coming through, I hope. Let me just double check. Yeah, I see it. And I have this point here, X2, Y2. A linear interpolation. Sorry, I got to work on the, I moved the lights around. It's okay. Sorry about that for today. This will just be as good as it's going to be. This is something I have to talk about and related to the Apple II Plus videos. I moved everything around multiple times. The idea here is I could be interpolating like 50% of the way in between these 2 points would be here. And a Bezier curve is all about, take these 2 points, take some control points, and do a lot of interpolation with these 2 points to get this curve. That's like a very hand wave, high level view of it. The video goes over it in much more detail. So the Bezier curve video might be a place for you to, again, I know you asked like, what's a good video for interpolation? And it's hard for me to, off the top of my head, know about other videos besides the one that I made. I know Freya's video because it's like the most amazing thing I've ever seen. But the other place where we would find, and I don't know that we will because I got to work on the metadata. I'm in the wrong view. Here we are back again. I'm going to go to tracks. Now I happen to know, this again is on the new Coding Train website, these tracks are all of my sequenced tutorials that you could find. I happen to know that there is a video on lerp inside this first track. But just out of curiosity, let's see. Nope, so I don't see it, interpolation. Yeah, so that's a useful note. I think that would be great metadata for people who are searching for this particular topic on the Coding Train. But I'm going to go to the track. And I'm going to find the video here, which would be, unless I imagined it, I'm pretty sure map. You know what? I'm getting confused. I have a video on the map function here as part of this track, but the lerp function actually isn't here. And Richard is asking what's the best way to contribute to the website. So let me talk about that when I get to it. Contribute. Wow, the rain is so loud. Unbelievable. Stoops, New York asks a really interesting question. Do you sell a boot camp? I do not. There's one exception with a paid course of mine that you can find on Nebula Classes, which I could point your way towards. If you just go to nebulaclasses.com/codingtrain, I have kind of a general purpose of what is code set of videos there. But if you want to learn to code through my videos, My suggestion would be, and these are all just on YouTube, find these tracks, maybe pick one depending on your level or area of interest. Certainly if you're a total beginner, this code Programming with P5GS is the one that I would suggest. And then if you prefer to learn through more project-oriented stuff, you could go to the challenges page. And the challenges page are more just like a selection of many different videos of different projects that I made over the years. So, you can see that a lot of work and love went into this website, so much so that the amount of content that I've made is quite a bit less in maybe the last 6 months or so, but hopefully having this organized system for all the content will help people ultimately. Okay. So you can't hear the rain. That's sorry. All right, video. So many wonderful things in the chat. So put your questions in onlinequestions.org because I can see them now. So anyway, so I have a video on lerp. I think I would, if you're interested in interpolation, go look at Bezier curves. And then the other thing that you could look at is maybe this is a little outside the scope of interpolation, but. Let's see, Penner easing functions. Let's see if we can find a really nice demonstration of this. So Robert Penner, let's see if this actually works. Oh yeah, so I think of these as interpolations, these easing functions, and a linear interpolation would be a straight line, right? We're moving from one point to another. But we could ease in and ease out with a sine, with a cubic interpolation, exponent, elastic. There are all these like wild. So this actually would be a wonderful, mental note, coding challenge, code all Penner easing functions. There used to be like a processing Penner library. Maybe there's one for P5GS. Great project for somebody if you want to take this on. Okay, so I answered that question. I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to, come on, answered. I'm going to do one more just in case you see where I am. Here we are. I'm going to answer, 314159. I guess I could just open the admin portal here. What's lerp? So hopefully hopefully this is answered. Oh, I can't do it here. Okay. What do I do for a living? Great question. So I would say, since you asked it this way, the majority of my income, how I sustain myself, is a full-time day job at New York University teaching as part of a program called ITP and IMA. It's an undergraduate and graduate program in interactive media arts at Tisch School of the Arts. I'm currently on sabbatical, which you would think would allow me to spend a lot more time doing this YouTube thing, but in reality, it didn't. There's a lot of things have been accomplished, but yeah. So that I do also focus on a lot of projects that derive income. The coding train being one of them, as well as books. So I have a learning processing book, which was published through a company called Elsevier many years ago. It's a little bit out of date. Don't necessarily recommend that you buy it, but you might enjoy having a copy of it, or if you can find a used one or a cheap one somewhere, go for it. There is a second edition of it. And then the Nature of Code book, which I self-published. And that's on my list to talk about today, where I am with that project and my goal to have this new second edition done by the end of December this year. Okay. I want to answer this next one. Have you thought of making any assembly videos? So yeah, I have on my list here to look at some of the comments and showcase projects for my recent Apple II videos. Let's just mention, if you haven't been keeping up with the recent videos on the channel, I would love for you to check out. I've been really obsessively playing with the thumbnails and titles of these over and over again, but I would love for you to check out these two videos. You can go do it now. I won't be affected, or you can watch them, put them on your watch later, check them out later. But I've been, audience seems to have really appreciated and enjoyed these. I've been doing coding on an Apple II Plus video. I dismantled my entire streaming setup to create this little mini set of me coding on the Apple II Plus. I have now put back my streaming setup and I moved the Apple II Plus to the other corner of this room. So my goal is to be able to go back and forth. And I certainly have the technical capability. I could even do it today, although I don't have certain things plugged in. I see Stig in the chat. I don't know if Stig was here when I did my entire long, elaborate demonstration of the Danish train whistle. But you can ask all your questions about the history and context of this train whistle to Stig, who's in the chat. I see you, True Bolt. Geometry Dash. I doubt that's coming on the Apple II Plus, but I do love that idea. So I really would like to be able to do both. So the tricky thing is I don't have enough cameras. So I have enough physical space now to have both the Apple II Plus over there. Lights are somewhat easy for me to move because I have them on stands and wheels. Cameras, I have to like move. These cameras are in sort of fixed tripods. They're all plugged in. The HDMI cables are all set up. Everything going into this capture PC. So it's a bit of a pain to move them. So I have to decide, do I want to get separate cameras just for the Apple II Plus? Or do I want to suffer through like, today I'm going to do Apple II Plus. Let me just break down all the cameras, set them back up, record a video, break it down, put it back. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. But please, I would love your feedback. If you haven't watched these, I think you'll enjoy sort of a little taste of computing history and me reattempting to do some of my older coding challenges, like the snake game over here on the right and the fractal tree over here on the left on the Apple II. Okay, thanks for all these questions. Oh, assembly language. So a lot of people in the comments, and I'll get to this when I get to the review of these Apple II Plus videos, asked about assembly language. And I would like to do that. And in fact, bear with me, I'm going to find a up here. I have, where is it? Where are all my Apple II books? Here's a few of them. Just I'm nearby you. Don't worry, I haven't left. DOS manual. Yes. Here we go. I have, so one of the amazing things, not just about having the Apple II Plus, is that I have, in addition, and I'm going to move to here and come around and show this to you a little closer. In addition to having the computer itself, I have all of the books and manuals and things that I had when I was, 10 years old in the early 80s. So this is programming the 6502. So I thought I would do some, oh, you can't see this at all. I would do some reading of this book. Sorry, this is pathetic. And try to learn a bit more about it. I know that Ben Eater has a lot of videos on YouTube about assembly language and working with building your own 6502 chip, maybe with modern microcontrollers. Don't quote me on that. So this is definitely something that I would like to get into. I also love. We think of creative coding, creative computing as kind of this new term of today, generative art, processing P5. Look here. If you need to know the 6502, you may not be able to find a text easier to understand than this one, creative computing. I assume that's some magazine, book, newspaper, journal? I don't know, newspaper. The creative computing, a newsletter from the 1980s? Would love to find that out. Isn't that cool? Okay. Try turning off the green screen, probably would have helped. Yeah. So sorry about that. But I do sometimes use an overhead camera. Okay, so let me, but the thing is, like, the question says most of the ones I'm able to find online are on a very basic beginner level. That's certainly where I would start. So I don't know if I'd be getting exactly what you're looking for, but okay, I'm going to answer that. So you can still ask questions. You can still ask your questions at onlinequestions.org. I've answered these top 4 upvoted ones. I might poke through and see if there's one that I find particularly interesting. I will look at these also later. It's kind of cool to see all these comments coming in. And I've got it in my peripheral vision over here. So if I see a question rising to the top, I will gladly answer it and try to do more towards the end of my agenda here. Okay. So let's come back to the Coding Train website. I've talked about it on quite a few streams recently, but I do want you to know that it's there. And let's move on to the main topic of today. So bear with me for a second. I don't know what music. I just pressed the button and the song came on. processing 4. I have notes here on this iPad off to the side. Okay, so first of all, if you like the Coding Train website, you're gonna like even more, I might say. The new, it's not as new and shiny as the Coding Train website because it was launched quite a fair amount of time ago now, but also created and designed by Design Systems International. Wonderful design. Then put the music a little less loud. Okay, I will fix that next time. The event number, Hassan, is 314159. It's in the pinned message in the chat. Okay, so this is processing, the new processing website. We are going to live. This is processing 4, but this is over here, this icon over here. This is probably one of the alphas or betas that I downloaded quite some time ago. I'm going to go over here. There is a new official processing 4 release, 4.0.1 stable release. I sadly have to download the Intel 64-bit, but one of the things in my notes here is that the new, first of all, if you're on Windows, great. If you're on older Mac, great. But if you happen to have one of these newfangled Silicon Macs, M1, M2, M2 Max, whatever those things might be, make sure you get the Apple Silicon version. It is a lot of work that Ben Fry did and other contributors, I'm sure, went into optimizing and getting processing 4 to work super fast and awesome on Silicon chip. Okay, so let's download this. We're going to take a look at it and look at some of the new features, some of the new some new functions you can call in it. I've got a whole list of stuff here to look at. And as I will take your wish. So Alka asked official release. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what counts as an official release, but this is an official release. It's 4.0 out of beta, 4.0.1. I really can't believe you can't hear that rain. It's so loud. All right, so let's open this up. Let's just, whatever version this was, let's dispose of it. Let's bring this version over here and let's give it a run. And one of the things that's really wonderful about it, which I hope shows up, is, yes, I want to open it, is a new welcome screen. Yes. This is so cool. So take a look at this beauty. When you first start processing 4, you get this wonderful welcome screen, which shows you a few examples you could try, tells you how to find more examples. We can go to, this is going to be an important link for us. What has changed? Let's go ahead and open that up because we're going to come back to this and kind of go through it. You also might be, if you want more detail about this, I would highly recommend you check out the revisions, which is like the many, many notes of all of the things. I mean, I'm just going to scroll this for a little bit. You may not realize how much work goes into these projects. We could do the same thing with P5. Pick your poison, pick your favorite open source project made with love. Tremendous amount of time and energy goes in. And one of the things I especially appreciate about this page is the thorough, detailed level of documentation. This page is not for everyone. You might not want to get lost in this. Certainly if you're a beginner, today's the day I'm going to learn to code. I'm going to download processing and try it for the first time. You don't really need to look at this page. You might come back to it later. But certainly if you're if you've used processing before and familiar with processing 3 or 2, then this page, which is a bit shorter, more of a summary, is absolutely something you're going to want to take a look at. Okay. So where was I? Changes, processing 4. Okay. So we were looking at this wonderful page. We've got to look at this awesome thing. Be sure to visit Tools Theme Selector to choose your own color scheme for the environment. Oh, I love it. You could also select an alternate sketch naming method. So processing will always auto-name your sketches. Obviously, you can name them whatever you want, but you can also adjust the auto-naming algorithm, it seems. So I'm going to show this message because I like it so much. I want to see it next time. But you don't have to keep that. You could uncheck that. I'm curious what happens if I click on one of these examples. Yeah, it opens it up in processing. That's so cool. So we could look at this message. This is a nice, very beginner-friendly message if it's your first day coding. There's going to be a lot in this message that you might not understand, but you can also, this is something that could sort of interesting. I think one of the things, I don't do this enough, but I know, I remember Kyle McDonald once did a workshop like this, which was like for total beginners who had never coded before. It was like, here's a code project. Let's just look at it and try to see what we can understand, what we don't understand. And without understanding it or knowing it, can we change stuff? And so that can be kind of fun. Like if I didn't know how to code, maybe I would just like, oh, what happens if I change that number to 800 and I run it again? Oh, whoa, okay, the size of the window changed. So this is the kind of thing you should freely do, whether you're a new coder or an experienced coder. Always fun to just play around and change stuff. At a certain level, you'll get lost, or the things you want to understand, you might want to double back and review concepts in a more methodical, step-by-step way. But those two ways of working are not mutually exclusive. Okay, so let me close this out. Let's look at, and I'm going to close the welcome screen. Let's look at, I'm just looking at the time, it's 10:45. I'm going to be here, my hope would be to be finished, this would be about a 90-minute stream with no break, but I might be here until about noon. MB Lab says, can they add autocomplete? There is autocomplete. I think it's a preference, and there might be some tricky ways to get it enabled. It's not just there automatically. I can try to look into that for you, or you come into the Coding Train Discord. But yes, there is autocomplete in processing. So let's go to, not the preferences. Let's go to tools. Theme selector, there we go. Okay, so look at this. So you can read about how to create your own theme, and you can save a theme.txt file for editing themes. But I'm just going to go and click through them. And I really like the purple one. I don't know what looks best. It's kind of a dark mode. I think maybe one of the lighter ones is maybe better for video. It's kind of nice. Ooh, this is how I feel. I feel like I feel this one. This one has me in my feels. This could be a good one for a certain day. And there also are minerals. What? Alloys? Whoa! Oh, these are the gradient themes. Wild. So here there are minerals, which are solid colors, and alloys, which are gradient themes. I hear somebody talking, but it must be my wife. Okay. All right, let's do this one. This is very bright and cheery. I like it. The line numbers are very hard to see with the themes. That is a very good note. Certainly, I know that for accessibility, web content accessibility guidelines, color contrast is really a key thing to always consider for user experience design and accessibility when you're building a website. And I think this is a good note here. To maybe, I don't know where you could file this as an issue or bring it up on the processing forum. I'm trying to take a mental note of it right now, but I don't have a good system of tracking everything while I'm streaming. You can tweet at me to remind me, but yes, I do see that on some of these themes, in particular this one, the line numbers are a bit light and hard to see. Thank you for that comment. My shirt is inside out. My undershirt is inside out? I don't think so. You really know how to get me, right? How to push my buttons and make a comment about my appearance live on live streaming. And I'm very... Okay, so let's keep going here and look at some more things. So I mentioned, so this is using also, a lot of work went into updating the version of Java. And so from what I understand, and I haven't rigorously tested this, if you get processing 4, you're going to see many performance boosts. I really want to look at this windowRatio method. So there's a new windowRatio method. Let's see if I can find it in the reference. windowRatio. So it doesn't appear that it's in the reference yet. That's another note to I gotta not, if you want me to stop looking at the chat, keep making comments about my shirt being inside out. This is another note for the processing community, the processing docs GitHub perhaps. Maybe we need to have the windowRatio function documented. But let's just give it a try. I forget how it works. Let's go look at here. windowRatio, a command that helps automatically resize your sketches whenever the window size changes. You can read about it in the release notes for beta 7. But a reference page is coming soon. So this is known that the reference page isn't there yet. Let's read about it in the notes. Let's look for windowRatio. Okay. So added a new windowRatio function that remaps screen and mouse coordinates to the specified aspect ratio. For instance, use windowRatio. Whether using full screen or set resizable, the sketch will scale its coordinates and the coordinates of your mouse. Oh, this is freaking me out. What the? Oh, and then there's like new variables. R width, R height contain the width and height that were passed to windowRatio. It could be used. What? Okay. Whoa. I don't understand. Okay, let's figure this out. Right, well, let's just use this sketch. I'm going to use a smaller window to start just because I don't have a lot of screen space here. Let's run the sketch and see what happens. Whoa. So I have a resizable window. Oh my God. This is insane. This is insanity. It's wild. It's like responsive design built into processing. It's showing me, okay, well, I'm like confused. I'm gonna have to rebuild this a little bit on my own. So first of all, I guess if I wanted it to start at the size that is the ratio, I should still add the size function. That makes sense. I'm gonna just take out this, I'm gonna comment this out here for a second, because what I wanna understand is the stroke weight. Okay, hold on. So let's try something for a second. I'm going to draw a circle at width divided by 2, height divided by 2, 100, 100. So this, 100. And I'm going to say fill 0. Okay, so this would put a circle in the middle. But now if I were to do this, so something weird happens that's off when I resize the window, which makes sense that it would be off because I think the idea here now is if I use R width and R height, those values are going to change. Yeah, look at that. And the size, okay, the size is changing relative to the size of the window. What if I take this out? I'm so confused. Okay, this is just like, so R width and R height don't even work. And if I were to do this, okay, so what I'm expecting to see, yeah, okay, I get it now. So this works. Like width and height always update. But the thing that's happening now when I use the windowRatio is notice how, and I use R width and R height, notice how the size of the circle is currently 1/8 of the width. And it looks like it is staying that. Now, what if I just adjust the height? Same thing. It's basically figuring out how to adjust the size so the appearance of the sketch doesn't change regardless of the scale of the window. Yeah, time to change that and add R everywhere in my old processing projects. Let's take a look at this page again to see, can be used in place of width, height. R mouse X and R mouse Y contain the mouse position scaled by the current ratio. So if your window is taller or wider than the specified ratio, your sketch will be moved using translate to fit the space. and R mouse X and R mouse Y might even have negative. The exact amount of space that's extra can be found in ratio left and ratio top, and the current scale being used can be found in ratio scale. Yeah, got it. So there's a lot more to this. And I almost can't wrap my brain around it because I'm so used to thinking about processing and its sort of fixed window size. But I think the real power here for me would be in using full screen, because I won't easily be able to demonstrate this, but if I'm saying full screen, what this is going to allow me to do is design something. Did it just letterbox it? Oh no, I think design something to appear full screen, but if I'm on a different machine with a different screen resolution ratio, it'll still, if I'm using all of these variables correctly, it'll still have the exact same appearance without me having to adjust my code. I think that's the idea. I'm glad to know my shirt is acceptable. Okay, great. What else do I have? So I looked at that. Okay, now I want to look at, there's PDEX and PDEZ files, which allow you to bundle sketches and contributions into double clickable things. Okay. This is going to have to parse out. I should have, by the way, I have this list. Thank you to Ben Fry, who sent me a lot of these things. But I honestly, I haven't really done a deep dive in a lot of these. So I'm looking at these for the first time. So apologies for not fully knowing where I'm going or what I'm looking at or how this stuff works. So let's take a look at this, PDEX and PDEZ. So let's go back to these changes and see. So let's actually just go through here. Not fond of the default sketch, blah, 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 blah naming system. You can also select an alternate naming scheme in the preferences window. It's possible to create your own word list. So let's look at that. Oops. Look at this. Oh, look. So you can create a different naming scheme like culinary arts. Oh my God, this is so cool. I'm gonna hit OK. And now when I make a new sketch, I get a dissolved croissant or a red hot cider or dried strips of curry. An infusion of fresh panini. Amazing. Now, let's try to figure out where is it doing it and how would I've got a project for you. I want to make my own naming scheme. So how does that work? Whoops. So where, make your own word list for generating sketch names. I wonder if it uses something like a context-free grammar. That would be a way to do it. Hello, Argentina, in the chat. Let's see. So where, I think that if I go here, often, if we go to, could it be in the sketchbook folder? I've got a lot of stuff in my sketchbook. So tools, modes, templates, no. Theme, there's some theme files there. Where are, here, I bet you it's here. Aha! Because there's, I wonder if adding, that's my recent, so there's some important files here, which are like the actual preferences. I wonder where console, let's look. Let's see if there's more information about it. I really want to find this out. Sketch naming. This is, sorry, hold on. Detailed information, okay. Okay, we've replaced underscores. New sketch naming schemes. Can have friendly naming schemes. Create a file naming.json in your sketchbook folder that follows the same layout in the processing download. Provide a name, a list of prefixes, and a list of suffixes, just like that. Okay, so where are those? same layout in the processing download. So on the Mac, it's like an application, it looks like it's one thing. I don't know if you know this, but it's actually like a bundle of a lot of files. So I wonder if I would find one in here somewhere. Modes, revisions, tools. So I might have to like look into this a bit more to find. There we go. Look at this. I found it. So let's open with Visual Studio Code. Aha. So we can see. Okay, come on, come back. We can see how this works now. That the friendly name, it comes from glitch.com friendly words. Prefixes. I wonder if I skipped over something. Can I? Oh my God, the rain is so loud. Can I condense this? Yeah. Suffixes. Yeah. And culinary arts is prefixes. Come on, close. There we go. Suffixes. Yeah. Cosmos. Prefix. So yeah. So now I see. Now I see how this is done. So we could make our own. Let's just try it. Let's do a coding train one. So if I do this. Let's make a new file. I'm going to call it naming.json. I'm going to put it in my processing sketch folder. I didn't mean to. Let's call it coding train. Sorry. There's got to be a better way for me to do this, but I can't think of it right now. All right, this is fine. I'm too stubborn. Okay, so we're going to get an array with name, notes, and prefixes. Wow, the rain is insane. If water starts coming through the ceiling, we'll know why. And suffixes. Oops. So prefixes could be choo. Oh, it has to be in shiny, happy. Suffixes could be choo, rainbow, unicorn, vegan cupcake. I don't know. What am I doing here? What's become of me? Oh, this is from Coding Train Livestream. Coding Train. All right. So I've made this file now. This is the most important thing I'm going to do today. I'm going to close this out. I'm assuming that it doesn't auto-populate here. So let's see if I go out of the preferences. Doesn't show up. Let's try quitting processing. Opening it up again. This dot would have been good. I don't know why I didn't think of that. And now I've got a farm fresh bag of almonds. And now I see coding train. Choo vegan cupcake. Choo unicorn. Shiny vegan cupcake. Happy vegan cupcake. Happy unicorn. I want to get Choo Choo. One of these days we're going to get Choo Choo. Ah, there we did. We did it. We did it, everybody. I don't have Okay. I know the music's kind of loud. It's not loud for me. Now it is. turn it down for you guys. All right. All right. What else new processing stuff do we want to look at? Okay, we've gotten through. Okay. So we've gotten through the naming convention, naming system. Oh, I haven't been looking at the. Okay, there I see a couple comments in the in the Coding Train Discord. Okay, new movie maker tool that can create animated GIFs as well as high resolution lossless MPEG videos. All right, this we have to try. Now let's, interestingly enough, let's go to the Coding Train website. Let's go to challenges. I think I had one on like making GIF loops. Okay, so you can see I really need to work on the metadata stuff here. Would love help with this. So let's go back here. Whoops, come on. Oh, also, not all of the challenges have been ported, so that also might be, this might be one that hasn't been ported yet. Let's go to the next page. Cube wave by bees and bombs. Now, let's try this. So let's look at this code. Oh, this is the, oops. So by the way, if you're on the Coding Train website and you're looking for the code, if you click on this, it's typically going to open by default in P5.js to go to the web editor. But over here, you can see this processing icon. This should take me directly to the processing code. And huge shout out to Deepam Sen, who has done a ton of work organizing this code and doing a lot of the content porting. So let me grab this code, bring it into the new processing. Let's close all these windows that I opened unnecessarily. Why won't they close? You know, you shouldn't trust my computer. My computer is kind of a disaster. This 2019 MacBook, I really need to upgrade it. Those new M2 Apples, they don't come cheap. Okay, so crushed sweet potato. Let's paste this code in. Let's run it to see if it works. Great. So there is, oh, lovely. So I think there's a bunch of flaws in my code example versus the original. This is one of my coding challenges where I attempted to recreate a very well-known GIF from the artist Bees and Bombs, who you should follow on Twitter or Tumblr or Instagram or wherever you can find all these amazing GIFs. Mine looks like it's upside down, perhaps, or doesn't have as much as sort of thoughtful visual design in terms of the quality of the graphics and lighting and all of that. But this will do for our purposes. Tools, Movie Maker. So, how does this work? Oh, I see. Compression. Ah, I see. So, the Movie Maker, I remember this now. The Movie Maker doesn't directly render a movie, so to speak, or from your sketch. But if I were to include save frame, and I'm going to do a folder called output, and I'll do render dash pound, 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 pound. These hash symbols indicate to processing that it should number the files up to 4 places. And I'm going to say, I don't know, .png. And what I would like to do with this code, I haven't been thoughtful about. Oh, we can see the original GIF here. Let's take a look at it. By the way, one thing I would love is for the, it might not be possible for the text editor to somehow allow clickable links in it to recognize a URL in comments. But Cube Wave, it's waiting to load. There it is. So you can see this is a nicer version of this. But mine will do. So my guess is just, I could certainly look at thinking about the variables such that how would I match the beginning to the end? But let's just try to guess. The angle starts at 0. There's also MA, No. And angle minus equal -1. So I'm assuming that if the angle is less than -2 pi, that would be one full cycle of this wave. That's just, now I haven't evaluated the math to know that this is really true. Whoops. Let's do bees and bombs too. So let's see what this does. I'm going to say otherwise exit. So I'm going to, as long as the angle is less than -2 pi, no, greater than, because the numbers are negative going down. So my limit is -2 pi. So while I'm greater than -2 pi, keep saving the images. And then once I get past, quit, exit. So let's see what happens. Oh, look how fast. So, oh, wow, that was remarkably fast. So how many images did I get? So now we can see we have this output folder with all of these images. Now, the first one, does it match the last one? That would be the question. Yeah, that looks the same. I don't know if I've gone through a full cycle of the wave, but they certainly match. So now I should be able to go to Tools, Movie Maker. I want to do same size as originals because I want to generate my GIF to be the same size as the sketch. Then I'm going to just, oh, I called it Upu, Upu, the French for output, Upu. It's fine, my typo aside. I'm going to drag that into here. And then I want to create a animated GIF loop. And let's hit create. And I want to save it. Let's just save it to the desktop. Bees, Choo. I don't know. Save. Did it do it? Was it just that fast? Because usually it shows, I've done this before with like thousands and thousands of images and it shows me a progress bar. Let's see if on the desktop, we have this. I think I did it. Is it a perfect looping GIF? I'm not entirely sure because I might have missed one frame on one side or the other. There's a more thoughtful ways of doing this. And I do have a set of videos that I build off of Golan Levin's examples for this, like GIF loop coding train. Yeah, so you'll see that I have some videos about making a GIF loop and making a Perlin noise loop, a hard curve GIF loop. So there's a bunch of these that you could find if you want to like do a deeper dive into this. But what I don't address in these videos is the fact that you can have processing render the GIF because that's a new feature. So yes, so what this is using from what I understand, so Greg in the chat is recommending Image Magic, which is a nice command line tool that you can use to create GIFs with a lot of different parameters, render images, adjust images. I've used it. There's also FFmpeg, which I use quite a bit. And I believe that this Movie Maker tool is just a user interface in front of FF. It might be using some other things too. I didn't develop this. I'd have to look at it. We can look at the processing source code, or you could ask a question on the forum. But my understanding is that this is using FFmpeg behind the scenes. Okay. I'm got to move on. Oh, it's 11:12. I got to move on from this. I'm obviously doing a very long dive into all of these new features. So we talked about this. Apple Silicon is supported. Sketch folder restrictions have been relaxed, making it easier to use version control. Yeah, this has been a big thing. So I don't know if you've ever noticed that, and I know I spelled bees and bombs wrong, but one of the things that has been tricky about working with processing is that you can, let me go here to as columns. Typically with processing sketches, the PDE file, which is your source code file, has to have the same exact name as the folder. And then if you have this like stray PDE file, like if you try to open it, it's like, oh, I've got to make a folder with that name, and things can get messy and confusing. I want to move on from this, so and I don't have the full awareness of all the changes here, but I believe, and if somebody in the chat knows, if somebody in the chat knows, please chime in. You can ask, by the way, Raphael, who does the wonderful Creative Coding News, Twitch streams, is the new processing community lead. So tweet at Raphael. You can ask all these questions to Raphael. But I believe the PDE-X and PDE-Z are mechanisms for different file extensions for having your processing sketches and being able to like move them around in more flexible ways with more flexible file naming. And my suspicion is, if I go back to here, oh yeah, we could look. Yeah, I'm noticing how long I'm going to look into this a little bit more and come back to it. But know that that's there for you, and it's pretty exciting. Okay. Many changes are made to future-proof the software, Java 17. Hundreds of bug fixes and usability updates. All the gory details in this revision document. Let me look at the notes. There's new Raspberry Pi support. So if it's not something I could demonstrate right now, not something I spend time with, but if you are interested in doing development on the Raspberry Pi, take a look at processing again. It's been revamped from what I understand. Being able to rename the main tab so that version control doesn't break when you rename a sketch. That's one of the ones. Gradient themes. Let me look here. Multiple ways to name sketches. Okay, I'm going to read you. This is direct from Ben Fry. There are a few options for these found in the preferences window. Oh yeah, no, this is multiple ways personalizing the environment. Okay, I showed this already. New welcome screen, a lot of plumbing work. Oh, preferences and export to application dialog boxes have changed quite a bit. So let's look at, I'm gonna just comment this out. Let's look at the export to application feature. So this is great. If you're not aware of this, this is such a wonderful, wonderful thing for those of you who work on sort of kiosk-like installations, whether for a museum exhibit, an art installation, a project that you want running in the lobby of a building. The ability to export a standalone application that can boot up with a machine from processing is huge. It's much harder to do that kind of thing with like a browser-based environment because it's like, okay, we've got to like write this script for the browser to open, and the browser has to go full screen. It can be a bit of a mess. So what's important is this sort of question is, and I guess this is only relevant for what I'm using right now, Intel 64-bit Mac, but if you embed Java, processing still runs on Java. So the application, if it doesn't have Java with it, it's going to expect the machine to have Java, which in most cases it will. But this is a way of including it so it sort of guarantees the experience of running it is identical to your running it. There's also this really sort of messy thing on Macs about signed applications, so to make sure that that they can be run, that they're not coming from an unidentified developer. Let's see how this goes for me right now. Sort of dramatic. We could do like a dramatic pause here. So I want to do Mac OS Intel 64-bit export. And I now have this application right here. And I believe you can customize the icon. There's a way of doing that. I mean, you obviously could do that on your own. So let's see what happens now. Like, I'm just going to drag this over to the desktop. So you see this is totally like a standalone application now. It's over here. I'm going to double click it. Ah! Oh, let's try this. Oh, I got something for you. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, let's try this now. Now, let's put it all together. We're going to wrap everything up with a beautiful bow. Okay, we're going to say windowRatio 400/400. Full screen? Yeah, full screen P3D. I think what this will do, well, first let's just try running it. Oh, I'm not using R width. Okay, hold on. Am I using width? R width, R height, R height, R width. Now, obviously I could do a find and replace, but that's not me. I'm like a tedious meditation coding person. Let's try this. This is very exciting. Oh, whoa. Okay. Let's try. What did I do? I probably missed something. Okay, wait, what did I miss? Where do these C W I have to investigate this later. I suppose because I was getting so big. Oh, hold on. Oh, this probably, I have a feeling that this is, okay. Maybe this needs to be, maybe the way that I've sort of figured this out, all of these things need to be tied to the width and height as well. That's probably what it is. So I need to, this is my fault for not coding this thoughtfully. The ortho. Shouldn't the aspect ratio match with ortho? Probably. Right, it should, yes. Right, okay, that makes sense. But maybe, let's just try this. And then, how do I do window resizable? Was that the function? Okay, so let's see what happens when I do this. Yeah, oh, I see. I don't want it to, I want actually, this is not the behavior I want. It's doing it correctly. It's trying to adjust it to the size. But really what I just want, I always want to, I mean, who knows why I'm doing this? So the thing that in my head that I just created in my head was like, I want to see it nicely fixed as a square in the center, but that's not actually what this ratio stuff is meant to do. It's doing exactly what it's meant to do, which is making it look kind of weird as I resize it, but that's kind of cool. Like, so let's just take this out again and let's go back to, I'm just curious, let's look at the difference. I'll do find replace here. Let's look at what happens without that R width, R height stuff. Yeah, look, it totally, whoa! It is kind of cool, but some weird stuff is definitely happening. And then if I wanted it to not, I could have these be, right? I could fix, another way of thinking about this would be to actually have all these fixed at 400 no matter what I do. And then this could be R width and R height. And I think this is kind of, I don't know if this is the right way to do this, but interesting. But I'll have to think, oh no, because it's still, oh, but this would be, I'm going to get this. I want aspect ratio. Oh, there's an there's an aspect ratio function. Anyway, you work this out. You can see how I can't figure this out right now because my brain cannot. My brain, it's like when I was programming, when I first used processing, we're talking almost 20 years ago now, 19 really, if I'm being more precise. We're coming up on 20 years though. I would say summer of 2003 so when I first used processing. No. This wasn't even called draw. When I used processing, this was called loop. So how is my brain supposed to understand how to resize a window in your aspect ratio? That's for you young coders out there to do. Okay, did you get the idea? It's really cool that I can export the application, run it full screen. That's what I was trying to show you. All right. So what else? Welcome screen, multiple platforms. I think I've covered just about everything about processing 4. So there we go. Okay. I've got a few other things on my agenda here. I'm going to be wrapping up in the next 10 to 30 minutes. So if you're, and one thing that I would really like to do with these live streams, especially now that I've covered this stuff, and somebody, I would, if somebody wants to help me with this, fantastic. But I want to make sure that after this stream ends, that I put time codes in the description so people can find the different parts where I'm looking at these different processing 4 features. One of the things, that you might notice is that the Coding Train website has a tremendous amount of metadata and a full, hopefully nice way of archiving and organizing all of the sort of standalone project videos, otherwise known as challenges, as well as all of the sequence tutorials, otherwise known as tracks. But there is no bar here for live streams. Now, I would very much like to add live stream archive, but the reason why I haven't done that is because I don't have the time or capacity, and I haven't, I have people who help and work on, who are paid to work on Coding Train. There are volunteers who help with Coding Train. That hasn't been something that we've been able to make time and space for, but I really would like for the live streams to be archived in a way that they're more searchable, time-coded, because there are, good luck to you if you're trying to find something that happened for like 20 minutes on a given live stream that's like an important nugget of information. It's just probably called on YouTube live stream archive, and it's 3 hours long without time codes. So if anyone is interested, step 1 is like, let's try doing it for this live stream today. But if anyone's interested in helping with that, add it to the list of things that I would like to do eventually for the Coding Train. Okay. Tracks mean tutorials. Okay, Andrew asked a great, so fall plan is on my list here. So Raj and Andrew are asking about what challenges are planned, how often are you going to live stream. I'm noticing Simon is not here, which is unusual. So I'm going to have to check in and say hi to Simon. I hope Simon is doing well. Sky Grizzly is asking a great question about the Apple II Plus. So I'm running out of steam a little bit. The engine is getting quite tired, but fall plan is on my list. So let me move through a bit more quickly here. So first of all, let's check. I'm going to check online questions. There are, Did I know that this service has no spamming protection? I do know that. So I'm relying on the kindness of strangers here. Where is the name? So there are a few questions that have been upvoted. I will come back to those at the end. So just so you know, you can go to onlinequestions.org and type in the code 314159 into the little box there. You can upvote questions or ask your own. I'll try to do a couple more at the end. Okay. Apple II Plus. So, as I mentioned, you can see my recent 2 videos have been about coding on the Apple II Plus. I'm planning to do the next one where I'm going to look at building a simple 3D renderer on the Apple II Plus. So the first one I did just text, and I made a little snake game with characters moving around the screen. Then I looked at graphics, drew a fractal tree. Next, I'm going to continue with graphics, but look at 3D rendering. That's the plan, although I currently don't have a camera set up for it, so who knows when I will get to it. So I did want to go through and look at some of the interesting stories and comments that people posted here. I think I might not have enough time for that today, so what I'm going to do is look at the showcase. So let's go look at the passenger showcase for these, but I would certainly encourage you to take a look at the comments. There are, so like, let's just look at this one. 43-year-old software engineer here, and this is where it all started for me. messing around with BASIC on the Apple IIe in my elementary school library. Creating these little games stimulated my imagination as a kid, and I can't imagine videos like yours wouldn't do the same for kids today. This stuff is timeless. Thank you for the nostalgia trip. So thank you for this. I see Rusty here. In the mid-1970s, we got our first computer as my dad was a programmer. I was immediately enthralled. This game was the first program I wrote. It was on a Radio Shack TRS-80. So, I don't know how far down this rabbit hole of retro computing I'll do. There are a bunch of YouTube channels. Adrian's Basement is one that people pointed me to, which maybe is more about restoring the machines than programming on them. But it's been really wonderful, and thank you, Practical Engineering, wonderful YouTube channel, to read people's stories about what kind of programming they did on old computers in the 70s and 80s. I also love hearing from people who were, born in this century, for example, who are like, wow, I didn't know what programming looked like on these older computers. BASIC is a bit of, it's certainly something that was widely used, but it's a environment that I might say was more for recreational or educational programming, but it really fits with what I do. I think there is a line that you could draw from BASIC to processing. Whereas, punch cards and assembly language and Fortran, these are things that I could also get into at some point, but some people didn't notice that in the comments of people talking about that. Okay, so I would encourage you, if you haven't had a chance to check these out, you can see there's some fun little things in there. I was able to screen capture with analog video into HDMI. So I'm not going to go through these, but what I would like to do is go to the Coding Train website, and I'm going to go to challenges, and you can see here the most two reasons. So first thing, I have to chastise you, the Coding Train viewership. We're going to have some real talk here, people. I'm not doing this just to code myself. I want to see what you make. I want to see your successes and failures and where you got stuck and what you tried. So far, there are no passenger showcases submitted for this particular video. So I want to encourage anybody. I don't know what your plans are for today, for tomorrow, this weekend. Be with friends and family. Make sure you're sleeping well, you're taking care of your mental and physical health, spend some time outside if you can. But, if you're at the computer programming, I would love to see some of your work related to this particular video. Now, moving on to the next challenge. Is there a way for me to go from this page to the next one? I think there is. And this should really, oh no, we haven't merged that pull request yet. So many things I want to talk about. Let's go to, back to challenges, whoops. Back to challenges. I can do this. Apple II, and you can see I've got the two. So that metadata made it in there. I'm gonna click on this one, and now we can see I have quite a few wonderful passenger showcase projects. So I want to take a look at these. Coming soon, oh, look, there's a lot of them. Wow, coming soon. So I'm gonna click through these kind of quickly because I want to look at all of them. Coming soon is a way that these will appear in random order each time. And if, by the way, if you're wondering how do you submit yours, up here so first of all, there should be a link to it. Submit a contribution. It's right here. So if you click on this link, it'll take you to a new page which has a submission form with information, but you can also do it through a GitHub pull request. So I encourage you to try that. The form creates a pull request. So regardless, you're getting your first pull request made. Which can be really exciting for people. That's my mission in life, is for me to provide a welcoming, positive experience for people to have their first pull request merged to an open source project. So I highly encourage you to do this. Raj, the thumbnail is something you have to submit. So as we've been porting showcase projects over from the previous website, Kathy and Deepam and many other people have been making all of these screenshots because we didn't have them originally, but now it's up to you to take a screenshot and submit it with your, if you don't submit one, it'll just use the thumbnail of the video, I think, or the screenshot of the code example associated with the video. I forgot what I was going to say. So let's take a look at these. So let me actually just go and click on all of them and go through them. Oh, this is going to cause a problem for me, but it's fine. Okay, so now first is, oops, looks like it's by Heinrich. Now this is a little unusual because usually what I would do, most passenger showcase projects are to, what I usually ask people to submit is, well, if it's a website, it runs online. If it's a P5 sketch, link to the code editor. Maybe if you made it in processing, maybe you recorded a screen capture. It's nice to have like something that I can quickly visually see, but with this, it's kind of unrealistic to do that. But what I can do very nicely is I can grab the code, and I'm going to go, there's a few different emulators. I'm going to actually go to this one. And I can just paste the code in here and run it. So let's have a look and let's try playing it. So this has obviously been switched to graphics mode. Mine was just using text. And that's really cool to see. Low resolution graphics mode, and maybe also a nice end screen. We can see game over right there. So that's wonderful. Thank you, Heinrich. And we can see, I love that there are nice comments and things here with REM being a way to do a comment. Not the band, REM for a remark. Okay, thank you. Now we've got Julian's Apple Basic. Okay, so let's do this, and I think I might have just closed this. So let's go here. Let's paste this one in and run it. Ooh, so this also looks like it's doing text, but ooh, it's very fast. But just different characters that maybe make more sense. Game over, and a game over screen. So one of the things, by the way, so if I wanted to try these on the Apple II Plus, I would have to sit and type the whole thing out. So copy paste. One of the things that you don't realize, or that you do if you did this kind of work, is, and you look at any of these books, you would get magazines in the mail that had cool basic programs that were on pages and pages and pages. And you could sit there and just like retype them into your computer. And it was a really exciting thing to do, to take all that time to retype them and finally run it, then realize you missed something, have to look through and find the typo. Oh, those were the days. Okay, thank you for this. I'm gonna go backwards now. So this is a place to hold some code for a snake game in Commodore 64 Basic. Here's the basic code. The question is, I have to run this on a Vice emulator. You can drag this or attach it. Let's see, convert it. I'm just curious, by the way, I'm sure it won't work. I'm curious what happens if we try running this code on the Apple emulator. Yeah. So unsupported poke location. So if you watch the video, you'll know that peeks and pokes, it's an old-timey command to look in the computer's memory or to add something, update the computer's memory. Poke is poking at the memory, changing it. Peek is peeking it. So I used it in the video for peeking at the place in memory that is keeping track of the last key pressed on the keyboard. So obviously the Commodore 64 is going to have different memory addresses than, so let's just see, is there a JavaScript C64 emulator? Let's see, can I, I have to drop some. So I don't have, unfortunately, just because for the interest of time, I'm very sorry about this. I am not able to, and I already lost that page. I am not able to figure out the Commodore 64 emulator right now live, but I would love to look at that. So thank you for that submission. I encourage those of you to investigate that more if you're interested. Okay, so now we're looking at another one, a snake game, gameplay video, so that I could watch. But where is the code? Okay, hold on. That's the README file. So let's try running this one. And let's go back to here. This one is from, whoops. Did I just close this one out? Who is this one from? Okay, this was the Commodore 64 one, right? And this one is from Unified Data Corp. Thank you to Unified Data Corp. Let's try running this. Whoa! Okay, this is wild. Press enter to begin. So wait, can I just, do I get all these? Oh, and it beeps. That is so cool. Oh, this is incredible. And look at the like text here at the bottom, like saying yummy. Oh, I hit the wall. Oh no, press enter to start a new game. This is amazing. Look at all this code. Look at all this code. Got some nice comments. Go subs, delays, welcome screen, a poke. I wonder what this poke is. I actually have the poster over here still. 4618. Here, I'll show you. This is, pull it off the wall for a second. This is my, so it's going to get keyed out a little bit, but this is the Peaks and poster. It actually has some really fun stuff on the back. I guess I'd have to turn the green screen on or show it to you on the whiteboard view. But I wonder if we can figure out 49162. 49162. 492, 49152, 49168. Oh, 49168 clears the keyboard. So the poke of 49168 is clearing the keyboard. So that way, if you're using a key that somebody pressed and you don't want that if statement to execute again, you would then poke to clear it. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you. Okay, I got to put this back on my wall. So, this is a very, very precious thing of mine. I don't want to lose it. Okay. All right, thank you for this. This is totally awesome. By the way, if anybody is in the chat who made one of these, I would love to, please say hi. Now we've got the amazing Sebastian Lag, who created their own version of it. And let's take a look at their code. Look at this, really nice commenting going on here. We're gonna, I'm always closing the window. Now let's run this. Whoa, look at that startup screen. Whoa, this is going very fast. Oh my God. So interestingly enough, the speed going horizontally is so much faster than vertically because the size of the pixel is not a uniform square. It's interesting. It'd be interesting to try to account for that in the code. I'm sorry, it's sort of like hard to not stop playing these. Let's see what happens if I get to the end. Oh, I guess there is no, I'm not long enough to hit myself and it's got wraparound. So let's see if I can, I'm just curious if there's a, okay, well, you get the idea. Amazing work, Sebastian Lag. I love that you did this. I look forward to a long, thoughtful video essay about programming on the Apple II Plus. Okay, so that's Sebastian Lag's. We've got Michael Kemp's snake. Let's take a look at this. Wait a second. Seed, peak 78, peak 79 to create a random seed. Gotta look at my poster again. Peak 78. 78 random number field. It's right here. That's interesting. I was not aware of that. That's cool to see. All right, let's try running this one. See what it looks like. Whoops. Okay, hold on. Let's refresh this page. And let's try running this. Whoa. Oop. Game over. Oh, what are the keys? Arrows. So these are using the arrows. I'm looking at the chat here. This is great. Let's see our game over screen. Game over. Yes, great job. Thank you for sharing this. So fantastic. Do we have any more? Did I get them all? Snake Game with Graphics. Julian's we did. Michael Kemp, Sebastian Lag, Daniel Long we saw. I don't remember seeing this one. Slightly more complete and faster. Did I miss this one? Oh, I missed this one. It was a paste bin site. That's why I closed that. Let's, let's look at raw. Let's try this one. So I missed this one. Let's take a look. So this is the most close to the version that I actually do in the video. And one thing I'm curious about is, I was looking to see if it used a ring buffer. So one of the things that I didn't do is use this idea of thinking of the array. So I'm like, in my modern computing world, thinking about an array as having 5 spots in it or 10 spots in it. And if I want to remove something from the array and add something new, maybe I shift everything over and add something to the end. Whereas on the Apple II, this looping through the array to shift all the elements is incredibly slow. So it would make much more sense to think of the array as a circle, and all I'm doing is changing where the beginning of the array is. So rather than shifting the elements over, I shift where I start. And that would be this idea of using a ring buffer, which honestly is an efficient way of doing things regardless of whether I'm, on a M2 Max computer or on, an old Apple II. But I didn't think to do that while I was programming it. Certainly that would be something to do. All right, so thank you. I want to really encourage all of you to submit to the Passenger Showcase. What will happen is, so when you go, if under guides, under the Passenger Showcase guide, if you submit this form, you are not required to include your email, but if you include your email and you have a GitHub account with that email, then the commit, this will automatically make a commit, and a pull request will be tied to your GitHub account. Otherwise, it's just going to be tied to Choo Choo Bot, an account that we have set up just as like a bot account on GitHub. So fill out this form, submit it. You could also do it manually as a pull request. And then what will happen is, and I'm pretty sure in the footer of the website, if we go here to here, and go to thecodingtrain.com, and I go to pull requests, what you would see if I go to look at pull requests with the label Showcase and look at closed, you can see these are the 5 most recent. So we can see that there are these Snake Applesoft Basic Showcase projects that I looked at. And then also, let's look at this Space Invaders one. So we can see that this is one that's already been merged. It's going to show up on the Space Invaders challenge page. Let's go look at that. Just curious. Oh, that's going to be, hold on. Space Invaders, there we go. And yeah, you can see it right here. Oh, no, right here. This is, there's a bunch of them. It probably is the last one because they're not random right now. There's a lot of them. Let's see. Sometimes they don't actually show up unless I rebuild the site clearing cache. Regardless, let's take a look at it here. We can look at it here. So thank you to Steve King. Here is the Space Invaders project. Tap Canvas to start. It's still loading. So Lucifer says, when is there's no end to these. You can submit them whenever. And I don't know if there's an error here, if it's loading. So I think there's, unfortunately, was an error with this running. So sorry for this little moment of fail here. But I encourage you, please submit your Passenger Showcase projects. I want to see them. I look at all of them, and I'm trying to get better organized to look at them and the live streams, as you can see. Okay, what else is on my list? So I talked about the Apple II Plus, I talked about the Showcase, talked about the website, got a few more questions to answer. So 2 other updates. Nature of code, fall plans. These are highly tied together. So let me close a bunch of windows here. And I'm going to be out of here in 5 or 10 minutes. All right, so as you know, you don't know this, as you might know, there is a book called The Nature of Code, published in 2012. You can read the entire book for free online right here. This has largely been untouched since 2012. This is the original text. It is all written for processing and has a lot of mistakes in it. The neural networks chapter was written before anything that's happened in the last 6 months, let alone 9 years, 10 years. So what's happening with this? If you go to GitHub, Nature of Code, you will see that there is a new repo called Book Website Second Edition. This is the new repo where all of the, and we're actually currently working on more documentation here, where all of the content, diagrams, styling for the new second edition of the book is here. And in fact, it really should have a link right to the Netlify preview right here in the README. I don't think that it does. So I have to remember this. What is it called? Can I log into my Netlify account? Hold on. Let me just see if I can log in here. GitHub. Pretty sure if I log in with GitHub, it'll work. And Nature of Code. Yeah. So I'll show this to you. No reason why you can't see it. So I'm using Netlify, which the codingtrain.com also uses, to build the site from that repo. There's a workflow that whenever updates are made, the new site is built. So I'm happy to share this URL if anyone wants to take a look. This is the current version of the second edition. You can see it is missing chapter 5, it is missing chapter 10, and it is missing chapter 11. But most of these chapters with some a medium-sized list of things, they are done. And there is a second edition version of the chapter here with a little bit of a new design, P5.js code. And one of the things you'll see if I go to forces, for example, which is really exciting. Let's get to the first example. Oh, okay. Maybe I need to go to vectors because I haven't done this for most of the chapters yet. Yeah, here we go. The examples are running embedded here in the browser. And then if I click here, open in the P5 web editor. So this is all in progress because they actually changed, everything's changing. This will actually fix it. It would take me to the sketch in the P5 web editor. So this is a lot of work is going into this. Jason, who is a recent alum of the ITP program, has been doing a ton of work building out this website. This I didn't think this buy the book goes anywhere because you can't yet. So this is here. I haven't been on YouTube as much because I'm doing a lot of work on this. But one, check it out. There's not really an easy way for people to contribute or participate in this right now, but you're welcome to look at the website, look through the GitHub repo. I welcome your GitHub issues, etc. But the real work needs to happen right now, which is that I need to get my act together and write the new physics libraries chapter, which will be chapter 5. I'm going to use matter.js. Update the neural network chapter to deal with neural networks in 2022, and write the new chapter, chapter 11, which is going to touch on reinforcement learning and neuroevolution. So I'm not sure yet, but in terms of my fall plan, I might have to take October off from YouTube streaming and video making in order to start writing these, because I've made space to work on editing, to get the site going. I mean, I'm not doing a lot of this work, but I'm kind of managing it and thinking about it and making lots of changes. So I think that I have an absolute deadline in my mind of finishing the second edition by the end of December. So what happens if I don't do any live streaming or recording videos in October? Do I get drafts of all 3 of those chapters done in October and I come back to YouTube in November? Or do I also need to take November off and then December off? So I don't know what the future of this fall holds, but I do have, there's still time in September. So it's my intention to do another Apple II Plus video. I would really like to do the wave function collapse part 2. And now that there's processing 4, I want to create a new YouTube course on learning to code with processing. So, or track, so to speak. So that's the kind of thing that I can just do in one day. Like it'll take longer to put it all together with a little light editing and organizing all the metadata. But I'm hoping to take like a Saturday, just get in here and like teach all the fundamentals of programming with processing over the course of a day. So there'll be very little post-production involved with that. And then it'll just be up on YouTube as like an archived, hopefully somewhat evergreen video that people could use to learn to code. I do have that right now for P5, and I do have a really old one for processing, but that one is 10 years old. So I'd like to do it with processing 4. So that's the fall plan. Yeah, there's more to wave function collapse. I don't know realistically what I'm going to get to in the next couple of weeks, but that's my fall plan. I have if you have questions or comments about that, please let me know. Join the Coding Train Discord. I would love to see you there. You can find it at thecodingtrain.com/Discord, or there's links to the Discord there. Let's take a look at answering some of these last questions. So I'm going to go to, onlinequestions.org, type in the event number, and we see there's a few questions. Let's see if I can get, so yes, I know this has no spam protection, so I'm going to answer that. My spam protection is I'm looking at it to my right. I'm not showing it on the screen in case somebody posts something inappropriate. But it probably takes something inappropriate a while to get upvoted. So that's also a little bit of a protection here. Will you continue the Apple II tutorials? Yes. The roadblock for me, and I would love to hear from you about this, on Twitter, at Schiffman, at the Coding Train. I need to figure out how to have a nice setup where I can go back and forth between working on the Apple II and this setup that you're seeing right now with this view as well as the whiteboard view. So I'll be working on that. And but yes, it's my intention to do at least one more Apple II video. Answered. And have you seen any of the physical, where's the name? Sorry, there's two questions. Where is the name Coding Train? Where does the name Coding Train come from? Well, sit back. It's story time with Daniel Schiffman on the Coding Train. Oh, only have a few minutes left. I'll make this a short story. This channel used to be called Coding Rainbow. That was a nice name. It was an homage to the wonderful, you can see that I have a little bit of an obsession with the 80s, being the time of my youth. There was a wonderful television program called Reading Rainbow with the amazing, incomparable, iconic, legendary LeVar Burton. And I don't know, I loved the vibe of it. And I thought, what is it that I want to say about coding to the world? I want to say, it's a rainbow. So I called the thing Coding Rainbow, not thinking I was starting a YouTube channel or a brand. But I flew too close to the sun, if you will, like Icarus. I hit the rainbow dead on, hit me in the head, and the very kind, lovely, wonderful, nice folks at Reading Rainbow, where we would appreciate if you didn't name your thing so close to our thing. So I had to come up with a new name, ask for people on social media, what do you think? And by golly, we need somebody make a Wikipedia page, edit the Daniel Schiffman Wikipedia page. Let's find the person who suggested this, because I can never seem to pull it out of my brain. But a very nice person suggested Coding Train, and I thought, that works for me. I like trains. Has a friendly vibe. We can have a rainbow coming out of the train. And honestly, that's where the training to code. I didn't really think of that at the time. People have mentioned that in fact. So that's where it came from. If you want to learn more about Coding Rainbow, I probably shouldn't be showing this. Coding Rainbow. I believe you will, if you Google it, you will find, this next web article from 2016 has this video, which is unlisted on YouTube, embedded into it, which is a little funny theme song. Wow. Okay. So please enjoy this. you can find it. And if you like Coding Train, I haven't done one of these in a while. Coding Train theme. Yeah, here we go. This one in 2017 is the updated Coding Train theme with all sorts of additional silly graphics and animations. So please enjoy these if you're sort of new and haven't seen these. These are from years ago. I guess my newest version of that is the Coding Together sitcom intro. So that's where the name Coding Train came from. That's my little story time to end today. Hopefully there'll be some new videos. Oh, I have this other project I'm working on, which is kind of related to the Apple II, but I think I want to make a JavaScript web version on it, and I'm gonna do it over on Twitch. And I got to do this soon. I'm making a version of the Oregon Trail, my own code example. I guess I could do it as a coding challenge. I'm not sure, but if you're interested in that old game, you can probably play it on an Apple II Plus, load it from a disk. That's also a project. It relates to this like podcast, and I got a lot more to say about that. But remind me about that. I really got to get that done. Got to get started on that soon. Okay, so thank you, Wave Morpher. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Sarvagya. This is it. This is the end of today's live stream. I've got exactly 1 minute left before I said I had to go. Alka has all the assets for the old intro. That's great. Here lies Coding Rainbow. Yeah, exactly. Can you do fractals on the Apple II? Hello! Did you not see my latest video? Yeah, so you can. So go watch my latest video on YouTube. Gabriel. So yeah, preferred on YouTube over Twitch. Yeah, I really struggle. I'm trying to like I dip my toe in all the different platforms. This is probably very loud for you. I made a Coding Train TikTok that has one video on it now. You might be able to find it. I was curious to experiment with YouTube Shorts a little bit, so we'll see. But yes, I hear you. I hear from the audience that I hear from the audience that's watching right now. No surprise here, you're watching this stream on YouTube, that you prefer the YouTube streams. I use the Twitch streams just to kind of like experiment with weird stuff but in the end, like, why am I doing that? My YouTube streams aren't exactly like professional broadcasts. They're really just weird experiments. But this today, like you notice, I didn't code any projects. I would like to have these live streams be more about interacting with the audience and answering questions and featuring your work. Is that less interesting to you? Would you prefer to just watch me code stuff during live streams? I don't know, but I certainly would welcome. Sarvagya, I'm so glad I pronounced your name correctly. One thing I love to see, just as I leave, let me know where you're from. Where are you watching this from? The international, the fact that the Coding Train audience, viewers are so all over the world is something that brings me tremendous happiness. I want to visit all of you. I want to go everywhere. I want to go on a Coding Train world tour. Probably when I retire. That's what I'll do. I don't want to have to work though. I just want to like experience the beauty that is the world. Presenting, giving talks, it's not very stressful. Just invite me somewhere. I will come if I don't have to give a talk. North Carolina, Journey, Hershey, Pennsylvania, the Netherlands, Germany, Bangalore, India, Korea, Seattle, Boston, Norway. Oh, I have an invitation to Norway. I got to reply to that email from Oslo. The Netherlands, India, Coding Train meetup, yeah. We had one kind of at Processing Community Day in Copenhagen. Oh, that's the end of the song. Oh, I'll be appearing live in New York City on October 8th in a very smart part of a Matt Parker show. More on that later. Goodbye, everyone. As always, I always forget the this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot. I'm going to do this dot, this dot. I'm going to do this dot, this dot, this dot. I'm going to do this dot, this dot. I'm going to do dot, this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot song. This dot, this dot, this dot. Never forget this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot song. This dot, this dot, this dot. Never forget this dot. this dot, this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot, this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do dot, this dot, this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot, this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot, this dot. I'm gonna do this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot song. This dot, this dot, this dot. Never forget this dot. This dot, this dot, this dot. Never forget this dot. I'm gonna do the this dot, this dot, this dot, this dot, the this dot song. Never forget the this dot. I'm gonna say once again, here we go, sing it with me. It's the polar Cartesian coordinate song. It's the polar to Cartesian coordinate song. Auto-tune and the internet will fix that for me. Sing it with me. It's the polar to Cartesian coordinate song. 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 So this is random, this is noise, Perlin noise that is. In the core random algorithm, the actual random algorithm itself, those numbers aren't related at all. You pick, like, I'm picking random numbers between 0 and 10. 9, 2, 7, 6, 1, 9, 4, 8, 9, 2, 1, 3. I pick 9 a lot apparently. But with Perlin noise, I might pick numbers like this. 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6. Well, this is like Perlin noise performance art. 9, 2, 7, 6, 1, 9, 4, 8, 9, 2, 1, 3. I think 9 a lot. 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4. Well, this is like Perlin noise performance art. 7, 5, 9, 2, 7, 6, 1, 9, 4, 8. But with Perlin noise, I might pick numbers like this. 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 5. Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. So this is Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. This is Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. So this is Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. So this is Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. This is Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. So this is Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. So this is Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. This is Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. So this is Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. This is Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. This is Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. So this is Perlin noise that is. Perlin noise. Apparently. But with Perlin noise, I might pick numbers like this. 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 5, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 5. Well, this is like Perlin noise performance art. Unicorns and rainbows and cupcakes. What else is there? Yes, kittens. Thank you very much. Kittens and rainbows and cupcakes. Notice that, and look what I get. I'm really losing my mind. Okay, let's do it. Kittens and kittens and kittens and kittens. 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 Kittens and kittens and kittens. Kittens and 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 kittens and kittens and kittens.
I feel just sort of like a nice feeling of relaxation. Everything's gonna be okay today. Dream is not broken, it has not frozen. This is a wonderful thing. Okay, we're gonna do it. I'm really getting to something. I need my sound effect. Unicorns and rainbows and cupcakes. What else is there? Unicorns and rainbows and cupcakes. That was invalid syntax, I forgot. There was one other thing here that I think is important that I will use continuously over and over again in all sorts of text generation analysis things. That I will use continuously over and over again. First thing I need to do is, yes, kittens. Kittens, kittens. I'm really losing my mind. Okay, we're gonna do it. Kittens and kittens and kittens and kittens. 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 Kittens and kittens and kittens and Das Vidania.